In the last video, we got introduced to arrays and how arrays are stored, how we can create arrays, how we can copy arrays. Now, arrays are just objects, just like scanner and string and print writer, and they can be passed to methods. So if we look at main, we will find that main that gets created automatically for us has the signature public static void. You know, we had learned public before, we learned static, we learned void, main, and then in parentheses, it takes a string array. Okay, so here's an array that I am passing to main. Now we're going to learn later how to actually pass something into main. So we can actually write our own methods that take arrays as input. So here, what I have is an array called fill array. A method called fill array. It takes an int array as input, and it's going through every element in the array, starting with location 0 up to the length of the array. And what it's putting in array of I is I. So it's going to put in the first location 0, location 1, location 2. And so I can call fill array with an array. Here I already have an array nums, which has 6, 2, 8, 4, 9. After I call fill array with it, the contents are changed. What happened to this memory location of this original array? It gets garbage collected by the garbage collector. So we can write methods that take arrays as arguments. Let's write one ourselves. So let's write here public static void, let's say print array. Okay, so it takes an int array as input, let's say nums, and what it's going to do, it's going to print the array. Now let's remember how to use the enhanced for loop or the for each loop. Actually, let's make it an array of doubles, just to give ourselves another example. So here, since it's an array of doubles, I'm going to create a for loop that's going to look at every double. So double x in nums. What I'm going to do is I'm going to print the elements in the array all on one line. When I'm done, I'm going to print a new line just to differentiate it between others. So here is a method that prints any array. You give it any numbers array, double array, it's going to print it. So let's test it in main. So if I here have a double array, let's say A1, and this one has 10, 20, 30, and another double array, A2, and this one has 40, 50, 60, 70. So they're different lengths. And I want to print them. Well, I can just say print array, and I can call it on A1 one time, and I can say print array and call it on A2. So each time it's going to copy this array, reference the address into print array and print it. Let's test it out. And so I get both my arrays printed, A1 and A2. So here's an example of a method that actually takes an array as input. Now, can I write a method that returns an array, for example? Yes. So I can come here, for example, and say print public static. Let's try it with a string array this time. Okay, let's say get friend names. Okay, let's say these friend names are in a file. Let's use a file. So here I'm going to create file object, file f equal to new file. And let's assume the file is called friends. Friends.txt. Create a scanner. Input file equal to new scanner f. And always remember to close our scanner. And so what I'm going to do is, as long as the file next has something in, I want to go and put it into the array. Let's fix our compiling errors first. So number one, I need to import some stuff. So import java.io.asterisk. I need to import scanner, java.util.scanner. Okay, and I need to modify my get friends names to throw IO exception. So those all need to be done just to get working with files. Now, what doesn't it like here? Oh, this is a capital F and scanner. Looks like I didn't import scanner. Oh, I forgot a space. Okay, so here I imported both. Okay. Now, I want to create an array and put some stuff in it. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an array, and it's going to be called friends equal to new string. And I have a problem at this point because I need to create an array with a certain size. For now, I'm going to assume that the array has 3 friends. So let me go and create my friends file. And I'm going to assume that I know that the file has 3. We're going to fix that later. But for now, let's assume that the array has 3 in it. Sorry, the file has 3 names in it. So let me create my file, new text document. We're going to call it friends. And in it, I'm going to put 3 friends. So I'm going to put Minnie, Mickey, and Donald. Okay, so those are my 3 friends. And here I am assume I know the file has 3 friend names. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my friends array and start putting. Well, to put, I need an index. So, I need an index. Let me create an index and I'm going to start it with 0. So I'm going to go to location I and say I want you to put whatever is in the file. So I'm going to go to the file and say get me the next line. Okay, and now that I put it at location 0, I need to update location 0 to make it 1. So this is going to create an array that's size 3. It's going to put the first friend at location 0, 1, 2, and 3. And then when it's done, I'm going to close my file and I'm going to return my friends array. Now let's use this in main. So in main, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this method that I just wrote, which is called getFriendNames. So I'm going to say getFriendNames. It doesn't take anything as input, and it returns a string array. So I'm going to create a string array, let's say names equal getFriendNames. Now, because this method throws an IO exception, here it says that I need to also throw an IO exception. So remember, throws IO exception is something that you need to propagate. So I'm throwing the IO exception. Now I want to print the contents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a method to print the contents of a string array. So I'm just going to copy my print array here, and I'm going to create a print array, but this one takes a string array, and let's just call it A. So because this is an array of strings, I need to go through every single string. So instead of for double, it's going to say for every string. And now I want to see what's in my array. So I'm going to say print array and say names. Let's see if we can get the 3 names that were in the file. And I did. So we just wrote a method that takes an array as input, and we wrote a method that returns an array as the return value. So both of these are valid and you can do them.